What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking about Kim Kardashian's Paris robbery in 2016. Now, what prompted this video was that if you guys are familiar with the Jussie Smollett case, where he said that he was hate crimed by two MAGA hat-wearing men, which later we found out was actually two Nigerian brothers that assisted in this crime. Those two brothers appeared on a couple of different podcasts and mentioned that Jussie Smollett had cited Kim Kardashian's Paris robbery as a PR stunt.
He told me about the situation with Kim Kardashian. I believe a year before Kim Kardashian had gotten robbed in Paris, and he mentioned how that was fake. He said Hollywood does that. They create publicity stunts to raise their profile and whatnot. So this is essentially what this would be.
And then I also saw them yesterday appear on Candace Owens' podcast doing an interview. I saw her wheels turning that she's about to cover this. I was like, I need to beat her to it because I was already knee deep in investigating this video. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Kim's Paris robbery, this happened all the way back in 2016, almost 9 years ago, and it happened during Fashion Week. And this robbery sent a shockwave to the general media because Kim Kardashian, a mega celebrity, was robbed at gunpoint, and these robbers stole between $5 to $10 million worth of jewelry from her. So for this video, I'm gonna walk us through a very brief timeline of what happened that night, the inconsistencies in the stories that were being told, and lastly, I'll give you an update on the suspects and the trial that's going on. Now, just to preface, I do want to say that I do not believe that Kim herself is in on this PR stunt. If it is a PR stunt, I do not believe that Kim is actively participating in this because Kim, I saw you in American Horror Story, I saw you do other acting jobs, singing as well. No amount of acting classes is going to churn out the performance that we saw Kim give when she's talking about the events of the robbery. To me, that is raw human emotion that she is exhibiting. So I do not think at all that Kim is, if there's a PR stunt happening here, that Kim is a part of that. I do want to say, Kim, if you're ever watching this, which you probably are not going to watch, I think that is definitely worth investigating your mother, your ex-husband, Kanye West, who was her husband at that time, and just anybody in her circle that possibly could have benefited from Kim experiencing this, because some of the details do raise questions. To start off, let us go all the way back 9 years ago to 2016. So like I said, Kim Kardashian was in Paris because of Fashion Week. She originally landed in Paris in September 28th of 2016, and while she was there, she was doing the regular Parisian Fashion Week events. She was going to fashion show, she was going to dinners with the designers. Now, on the night of October 2nd, Kim and her family, Kendall and Courtney, they went out to dinner with one of the designers, and then they came back to the hotel to change so that they can go out. This happened around 1 in the morning, and Kim at that time decided she wasn't really in the mood to go out, so Courtney and Kendall, they just went ahead and they went out. And also because they had come with their security, somebody in the family suggested that the security go with Courtney and Kendall because they were gonna go out to a club. So it just made more sense that obviously there's a bunch of people there, he's gonna be tagging along. And Kim also had a sense of security in this hotel room. Apparently this hotel was frequented by Kanye West and was like a semi-residence to him. And there was also other A-listers that had stayed at the hotel recently or were currently there. Like the Nightman mentioned that Jennifer Lawrence had checked out 2 nights prior, and then also that Robin Thicke was currently staying in the hotel. So I don't think she had any sense that it was dangerous to stay here. It was also a very discreet, private hotel. After 1 in the morning, her family's out, but Kim decides to just do some work on her computer. We see that she Snapchats like late into the night. This is around like 2-ish in the morning. And so Kim is, just kind of getting herself ready for bed. She's ready to doze off. And that's when she suddenly hears a commotion come up the stairs. She hears noises like footsteps, and she's calling out because she's thinking that Courtney's coming back sloppy drunk from the club, and she's calling out like, hello, hello. And then she sees out of the doors of her room 2 men holding a 3rd man down towards the ground. Now, she later finds out that the man that's being held down is the night man of the hotel. And obviously the 2 men are the robbers that are here for Kim Kardashian / her money / her jewelry. Now it's at this time that Kim then turns over to try to call 911, but then she realizes, she's like, wait, I don't even know the number for 911 here in France. So then she goes and she calls her bodyguard, which is Pascal, the one that's out with Kourtney and Kendall. And she's unsuccessful in reaching him, and the robbers take the phone out of her hand and then push her back onto the bed. According to Kim, they then are asking her for the ring. Separately from what the Nightman says, he said they actually weren't asking for the ring, but that Kim understood them to be asking for this. So then she gives them that $4 million engagement ring that Kanye West had gifted Kim. And then after this, they take Kim and they put zip ties around her. They tape her hands. And then they grab her and put her in the bathroom. After the men leave her in the bathroom, they leave the apartment and they end up leaving the hotel. And that's where Kim frees herself from the zip ties and the tape. And she goes over to her friend who is also staying in the hotel, who was overhearing some of the commotion, calling the bodyguard for help, scared in the bathroom. She then has that person call the bodyguard. Her family arrives shortly after that, and the police arrive shortly after that. Like I mentioned, they took from Kim her $4 million ring. They also took her jewelry box, which contained like earrings, different necklaces, etc. Things that were valued like up to $10 million in total. All right, so let us get into the inconsistencies of this story and the questions that I have. I'm gonna go through several different points here. I wanna say this is going to prompt a second video because I need your guys' help to help me investigate this. All right, so let's first talk about the phone. In Kim's original testimony, she mentions that she tried to call Pascal, but she does not mention that she tried to call 911. Now, if you guys remember, this is the moment where she is seeing the robbers outside of her room and she is scared and she's like, oh my God, okay, I need to call 911 or Pascal. According to Kim's original testimony, she says, I called at 2:56 a.m. my bodyguard. Then she goes on to describe the other details of the situation. We also see on Kim Kardashian's Keeping Up with the Kardashian TV show, she mentions that she was unable to remember the number she didn't even know the number to call the French police. And so then she opts out to calling Pascal.
So I slid off my bed and picked up my phone and I'm like, I don't know how to call 911 in a different country. And so I called Pascal, and then the guy came and grabbed the phone from me, threw me on the bed.
So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like in the police report, she didn't end up calling 911, so she didn't mention that. But then in her newer testimony, so Kim released an original testimony the night of the robbery, but then in 2017, in springtime, she gives a new testimony. And in this new testimony, she specifies that she was not even able to reach her phone, that they had actually taken it from her before she could do anything. Kim says in this new testimony, quote, then in a panic, she tried to grab one of her telephones, but did not succeed. So in this new testimony, the phone wasn't even able to be reached by Kim. Although the first two kind of made sense to me. Okay, she's not gonna mention that she tried to call 911, but it didn't happen to the police report. But in her new testimony, it was like, I couldn't even grab my phone. So I was like, that's kind of a very distinct difference to me. Like, okay, you didn't even have the opportunity to try to call your bodyguard, which in almost every other account of this, even when she's on her show, when she is talking about it in interviews, she does mention that she called her bodyguard at 2:56. So I thought the newer testimony was just really interesting to me. The next question is, did they specifically target Kim? If you see accounts of the Nightman, who was the man that opened the door to Kim's room and who a lot of people describe as like a very suspicious character, he says that they actually did not target Kim's room specifically, that they were actually planning to hit up all of the rooms. And you could see him do interviews and discuss this.
Reports claim the thieves had targeted Kim because of her nonstop activity on social media, showing her ring. But 39-year-old Abdul Rahman says the thieves did not specifically target Kim. Instead, they planned to rob any wealthy guests as they came through the door.
Do they use any names at this point? They're asking, what do they say?
No. They don't know any name.
Kim later recounts in interviews on her TV show that they didn't know her name specifically, that they basically were just asking like, where is the rapper's wife?
They held a gun up to the concierge that was downstairs and said, let us up to
where's the rapper's wife? And
How dare them not know your name?
And then in another set of interviews, which is done by the apparent robber of Kim Kardashian, who was able to get out and is now like doing interviews and wrote a book too, which we're gonna get into later in the video, but he says that they had been following Kim for some time and that he had really not known too much about her, but they were following her. They knew she was famous. They had seen her TV show where she had lost the earring in the ocean. And Courtney was like, Kim, there's people dying.
On a su ces informations-là par les réseaux sociaux. Dès qu'on savait qu'elle venait pour la Fashion Week, donc on est venu là, on a venu repérer où était la Fashion Week.
Did you know how big of a star she was?
Alors moi, honnêtement, je la connaissais pas vraiment elle. Je connaissais son mari, Kanye West. Mais je la connaissais pas. Mais j'ai vu une de ces séries où elle jetait son diamant dans la piscine, dans son épisode La famille Kardashian.
Which I think is also another interesting distinction. I'm like, wait, how are you watching her show? How are you following her on social media and you don't know who she is? How is this that much variation from we didn't target her at all to we are following her on social media? I don't know about you guys, but I literally know people by their like username / handle. People in my real life, I'm like, oh, I know their last name because I see it on social media. Like, it's not even that I'm trying to like remember that specific thing. It's just like you see it over and over, you memorize it subconsciously. So I was like, the robbers who were following her for a long time did not know her name. The other question I had was Kim's movements during the robbery. Not that I want Kim to relive this moment and tell us what exactly happened, but I kind of want to have a better understanding of what exactly transpired through this night. Now, there's one small detail that I kind of focused in on, and this was Kim stating that she was in the lobby. So in Kim's original testimony, she mentions that she was taken out to a lobby. I want to say that it's possible because of translation that lobby doesn't mean like the hotel lobby at the bottom floor, but it could just mean the lobby of her hotel room because she was staying at the Sky penthouse, which had multiple floors. Apparently it spanned 3 total floors. So the lobby could just mean her living room. So in Kim's original testimony, she says, they catched me and took me in the lobby. I was wearing a bathrobe, naked underneath. Then we went in the room again and they pushed me on the bed. In Kim's new testimony, she says that she gave over the ring, which lines up with the old one. And then she says, quote, then for a moment at the top of the stairs, she thought of escaping, but was afraid that they might shoot. Now, this also lines up with Kim's testimony on her show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where she says that she thought about running. She thought that if she ran down and the elevator didn't open in time, then they might catch her. Or if they just see her running down, they might shoot her in the back.
They dragged me out to the hallway on top of the stairs. That's when I saw the gun, like clear as day. And I was kind of looking at the gun, looking down back at the stairs. I was like, I have a split second in my mind to make this quick decision. Like, am I gonna run down the stairs and like either be shot in the back? Like, it makes me so upset to think about it. But like, either they're gonna shoot me in the back, or if I make it and they don't, if the elevator does not open in time, or the stairs are locked, then like I'm.
What I think is interesting about this is actually it shows that there's movement within the apartment because we can see photos of Kim's room / crime scene. And we also see that there's a video of the nightman walking a reporter through the events of the night. We can see the living room of that apartment. It's interesting to note because I almost wonder exactly where she is taken to. Like at one point she is starting off in her bedroom and she's on the bed and they walk in on her, they grab her, and there's this whole encounter that when she's telling this story in her later interviews and on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, except for that one that I mentioned to you guys, a lot of it seems as though it's just happening within that room. But actually there seems to be a moment where they grab her and take her to the lobby, like I said in her original testimony, and in her later testimony, she says that she's at the top of the stairs. Her room is here. There's probably a lobby connected to that room, and then there's a staircase. So she's actually veered pretty far away from the original hotel room that she was sleeping in, and she's now all the way across to another area, which, like I said, it could definitely be possible that they're dragging her around the apartment. But I'm like, what exactly is the conversation that is going on? Because from Kim's accounts, this is a very quick encounter. From her account, it's she's on the bed, they push her down, they take the phone, they ask her for the ring, she gives the ring, she's begging for her life, and then they tape her up and they put her in the bathroom. To me, that's like one fluid motion, but really in these statements, there's actually kind of a break from that, and she's actually in another part of the hotel. She's maybe at the top of the staircase. So it's very curious to me, like, where exactly is she while these things are happening? Now, moving on, my next question is, how long did this robbery actually last? Now, according to Kim, she is on felony files, and she briefly states that it was like the worst 10 minutes of her life.
That 10 minutes really changed my whole life.
Now, again, she's not trying to be factual, like it was 7 minutes and 34 seconds, but at least it gives an indication that this was a brief encounter. It was a total of 10 minutes is what it felt like for her. I found online an article that referenced a police report that said that it was a total of 49 minutes. So I was like, 49 minutes? That's a huge discrepancy from 10 minutes. So then I was questioning, was it closer to 10 minutes and they got it wrong? Or was it closer to 50 minutes and Kim's getting it wrong? And what I actually found was evidence that showed that it was actually closer to the 40 to 50 minute timeline. What we know from Kim's account is that she tried to call Pascal at 2:56 in the morning. We also know that Kim gave her statement to the police at 4:30 in the morning. Okay, so there's at least an hour and a half gap between those times. What we also know is that there is footage that was released by the French police that showed the robbers arriving to the hotel on bikes and then some on foot at 2:18 in the morning. And then that the robbers had left the hotel at 3:07 in the morning. Again, some on bikes, some on foot. So that time span of 2:18 to 3:07 is in alignment with that 49-minute block. So I was then wondering, what the hell was going on for 49 minutes? That's a whole freaking Netflix TV show, all right? Kim could have been watching 2 episodes of Friends upstairs while these men were up in her room. And I'm sorry for the joke, but it's a long period of time. Just to give you a time frame, I Googled, based on Homeland Security, robberies typically last between 8 to 10 minutes, some lasting up to 30 minutes. Like, robbers are not loitering up in the place that they are supposed to be robbing. For what? And then they only rob one person? So here's what we know, okay? So at 2:18 in the morning is when the robbers are seen on that footage arriving to the hotel. At 2:56 in the morning is when Kim texts Pascal. So we know the robbers are now in her room. So there's actually a 38-minute time block between when the robbers arrive and when the robbers appear in Kim's room. Here's the other interesting thing. Based on this interview done by Inside Edition, they show the pathway that the robbers had taken to get to Kim's room. Now, they don't specify that the robbers went through the front entrance of the hotel, but they imply it because the interviewer, the reporter, is walking to the front, and then she's showing like, hey, this is the glass door that they then went up to, that they tricked the night man to opening because they were wearing like their police uniform. There's 2 things, okay? One, apparently that this hotel utilized the same passcode to enter through that big burgundy door for 6 years. And there's a guy that goes and visits the hotel after Kim's robbery, testing to see, like, did they update the hotel code?
Hotel security guard told me they hadn't changed the security code for 6 years. But have they updated it now, after the Kim Kardashian robbery?
The reason why this is important is because if the robbers knew the code, then there was no issue getting in. So at 2:18, they were able to enter the hotel. And therefore, they were in the courtyard maybe, loitering. They were downstairs with the concierge for 38 minutes, talking to him. What exactly were they doing for those 38 minutes before they appear inside of Kim's room? Now, option number 2, if the robbers did not know the code to the front door, according to an article that was put out by Lux Nomad, who do spreads on different luxury hotels and what the accommodations look like. They mention, quote, "There's no giveaway to the luxury house inside, nor is there a signage or security, just a massive burgundy door. To enter, guests use a private entrance from an underground parking lot." So then I'm like, okay, well then if they try to get in through the underground parking lot, can I please see the door that they went through to get through? And can we have this account be described to us that they actually had come in through the underground parking lot? But all in all, what does not make sense is the time of arrival and then the time of arrival into Kim's room. What was going on for those 38 minutes? That is not a short time period to just be wandering the street, to just be hanging out in the courtyard. And this is why I'm reiterating, I don't think that Kim is lying, but I think Kim should investigate what was going on, because Kim's encounter, like I said, at 2:56 she's calling Pascal, so we know that they're in the room, and then at 3:07 we see the robbers flee. So that actually truly is a 10-minute time frame. So she's actually accurate about her recount of the story. Now the other details that I want to talk about are Kim's accounts of the jewelry being stolen. So the jewelry that was stolen from Kim's hotel room was, as Kim quoted on the felony files, she had brought all of her jewelry, this was Paris Fashion Week, and that she was going to, go all out.
Kanye got me this like 20-carat diamond ring, and I brought all of my jewels, everything I possibly had, to Paris with me.
But based on the Getty images for this Paris Fashion Week event, Kim's style is actually very, very minimalist. Like, she is not wearing any jewelry. She is wearing like maybe some crosses here and there, but she's not wearing her Lorraine Schwartz earrings. She's not wearing her Cartier bracelets. She is wearing her ring for a lot of those things, but she's not wearing anything outside of that. I know Kanye did go and visit her so that he can correct her wardrobe, but even the day that she arrived, which was September 28th, she was not wearing anything flashy. I didn't see a bracelet. I didn't see a necklace. I didn't see an earring being worn. I found that to be very interesting that she brought all of her jewelry to this trip, because these things are planned months in advance with the stylist. In Kim's original testimony, she also goes into extreme detail about every piece of jewelry that she owns. And I was like, I swear to you, like 10 pieces of jewelry total. I could not recount to you right now what the hell is in that jewelry box. I know for police reportings, especially when they're taking your statement, they want to get a list of the things that you have lost. So I'm kind of giving her a little bit of leeway here, because I was like, damn, she was able to recall in detail multiple items that she lost. I'm just gonna read down her statement slightly. Kim says, quote, "In my jewelry box, there were 2 bracelets by Cartier, all with diamonds, a necklace by Jacob, all in gold and diamond earrings by Lorraine Schwartz, all the other was Yana. There were 3 necklaces by Jacob, all in gold, little bracelets, jewelry, rings, a necklace by Lorraine Schwartz, all in diamonds, another necklace with 6 diamonds on it, a last necklace with my son's name in diamond." So I'm like, this is a very detailed account of things that were stolen from you within an hour of you being robbed. And I just thought, whoa, that is incredible memory. Maybe she just has incredible memory. Or I also thought too, like maybe because the stylists have noted these things down, probably to plan for the trip, then they probably just gave that information over to the police as like descriptions. So I don't know, it's a curious thing. I know people mentioned that she could have been doing this for like an insurance fraud. Again, I don't believe it's a hoax from that angle, but I just thought it was a very curious thing based off the outfits that actually were worn for the Fashion Week event. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the physical strength of these robbers. According to Kim's original testimony, the robbers had placed her inside of her bathtub. She said, "They carried me in my bathroom, more specifically in my bathtub." There is then the interview with the nightman who says that they did not place her in the bathtub, that they actually put her on the bathroom floor.
They put her on the floor?
Floor, yeah.
They don't put her in the bathtub?
No.
They leave her on the floor like this?
Yeah.
So headlines that she was placed in the bathtub were not true.
He supposedly was clarifying a rumor, but the rumor actually had come from Kim's original police testimony. Kim later states in an interview that they put her in the bathtub and then they put her on the bathroom floor.
He picked me up and he put me in a bathtub. And then he picked me up again and just put me on the floor and ran.
Why do they keep moving your body? Like, what is the purpose for an armed robbery, a robber, to put your body in a specific place? Like, also, why couldn't she just be left on the bed. Like they were just here to rob her, but they're also trying to find a spot for her to be inside. And this part also too got me because I was like, wait, common sense wise, this robber story was also sensationalized in France because of the age of the robbers. So according to French sources, the robbers, except for one suspect, were all aged between 50 and 72 years old. When I saw all of the ages of the robbers that were actually supposedly in Kim's room in the hotel, they were all 60 years old. The other 50 whatever year old were just like thought to have maybe orchestrated some of it. But the robbers in the room / in the hotel were 60s. My father is 50 something years old. Okay, I do not think that he could carry me, let alone move me from one spot, then change his mind, put me in another spot. It sounded a little bit crazy to me. I was like, wait, they're able to carry her and they also are strong enough to move her. These guys look old. It's not even that they're like these buff 60-year-olds. No, they look like 60-year-olds. No offense to my older followers, but they're just older people, okay? Even myself, I don't think I can lift another adult that easily. Even when they were showing on Inside Edition, the reenactment, that guy was struggling. He was like a young guy that was carrying that girl, the actress. He was struggling to put her on the bathroom floor. Now, the last part that I want to mention is the lack of coverage. Every time that I do a video, a short video of Kim Kardashian, it has so many more views than my other stuff. And for Kim Kardashian, who's such a high profile individual who is constantly on social media, that's part of her brand, I was like, wait, you could not find that much detail on the suspects, on the trial, nothing. Okay, just to give you guys and branch over into the next topic, which is an update on the suspects / the trial. This case is set to go to trial this year, which is 9 years after the original event happened. I Googled how long does it take in the French police system for something to go to trial, and it was like, for complicated cases, it could take up to 6 years. Why is this taking 9 years for it to go to trial? Mind you, these are also individuals who are 50 to 60 to 70 years old. 9 years is about an age in which these people could potentially pass away. So just to give you guys an update on the suspects, there were 17 people that were originally arrested in January 2017, and then 12 of those 17 people were found to be associated with the crime. It's not clear the sentencing of these individuals. Apparently one of them, Yunus Abba, he was in jail for 2 years, but then they let him out because he was going through some heart issues. He later released a book called I Kidnapped / Sequestered Kim Kardashian, and went on this like whole press tour, was treated like a celebrity for this event, which I thought was so odd. You are a criminal that has just very recently committed a crime. It wasn't like Gypsy Rose and it happened like, 10 years ago, she served her time, she's out. Like, this is someone who was like, this case hasn't even been tried in court and he's saying, hey, I did it. I just want to finish off and say, for anybody who's watching from France, hi France, can you please help us figure out what is going on with this case? If there's been more coverage that's gone on, please let us know. That was how I was able to figure out that there was even a trial that was happening this year, but no American media has been covering this. And we do know that Kris Jenner has her hands closely tied to a bunch of celebrity entertainment media. So I don't know if she's suppressing stories. Why is Kim also not talking about it? Yes, I don't want to relive the trauma, but if those people that did that to me are going to trial, oh bitch, I'm going to be talking, especially for someone like Kim Kardashian who's so high profile, so in social media. It just seems odd to me that this has turned into such a low profile case. She's not some nobody. My parting questions to you guys is there more to this story that we don't know? Why did it take 9 years for this to go to trial? Will we ever get the full story? Please let me know, what are your guys' thoughts? Like I said, if you guys share with me some real legitimate things you guys find, I'm happy to do a second video on this. For now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye everybody.